All right, so welcome to the deep dive. And today we're going to be exploring this thing called the Saucemoto dip clip.
Hmm.
And basically, it's like this thing, you clip it onto your air vent in your car, and it's supposed to hold your dipping sauces.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So our source for this is actually just the Saucemoto Amazon.com product listing.
Okay.
And, we all grab food on the go, but have you ever really thought about how our cars, like, they're really not designed for eating in there?
No, not really.
Especially like, if you're trying to do like messy dipping and stuff. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
let's see if this sauce moto is the answer.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that this thing even exists, I think, says something right. Like,
Right.
it's super popular too. I mean, I was just looking at the Amazon listing, and they say they've sold like over 20,000 units just last month alone.
Ooh.
So clearly, this is like tapping into some kind of common frustration that people have.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm picturing just like, ketchup on the upholstery and sticky fingers.
Right.
It's not a good look.
Yeah, definitely not. I've been there.
So how does this thing actually work?
So basically, it's pretty simple. It clips onto your car's air vent,
Okay.
and it's made to hold those little sauce cups that you get at fast food places.
Right.
And they even say in the listing that it comes with like a reusable cup, so you can use it for ketchup packets too.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, which is a nice touch. They're really going for that whole like dip without the drip kind of slogan.
Yeah. But like, marketing aside, does it actually work?
Well, that's the thing. It seems like it actually does.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the reviews are like overwhelmingly positive. We're talking over 22,000 ratings on Amazon with an average of 4.6 stars.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so people are really praising it for being sturdy, easy to use, and like, of course, the fact that it actually prevents spills.
No way.
Yeah, there was one reviewer who said they like originally bought it as a joke, but then they actually found it really handy on long car rides.
So it's like practical, but also kind of a novelty at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. There's a certain charm to it.
Yeah.
Like it's solving this problem, but with a little bit of humor.
Right.
And a lot of people are commenting on that, on how much they just love the idea. Like one person said, such a cute idea, with like 2 exclamation points.
Haha. Okay, so it's cute, it's popular, it's supposedly spill-proof, but the Amazon listing, it says that it fits sauce cups from most major chains.
Right.
Is that actually true?
Well, that's where things get a little bit tricky. Because while the product description is really confident about that, there are some reviewers who have pointed out inconsistencies with certain brands.
Okay.
Like, for example, someone mentioned that they had trouble fitting circular sauce containers in it.
Interesting.
And another reviewer specifically called out fit issues with KFC and Carl's Jr. sauce cups.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. So it might not be like a universal solution.
Yeah, right.
You might need to do a little research before you buy it just to make sure it's actually going to fit your favorite sauce cups.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, which, let's be honest, that's crucial information.
For sure. I mean, if you're going to get a dip clip, you got to make sure it fits the dips you like to dip.
Right. Exactly. And it makes you wonder, like, is this a design flaw or is it just like a limitation of trying to create a one-size-fits-all solution?
That's a good question.
Yeah. And thinking even more broadly, like, what does the popularity of this product say about our, like, eating habits and how design needs to adapt?
Okay, that's what I was hoping we'd get into, because this is a tiny little dip clip, and yet we're like,
Yeah.
this has sparked such a bigger conversation. Like, why are people so obsessed with this? Is it just about hating messy cars, or is there something more going on here?
Yeah, I think there's definitely something more to it. It has a lot to do with, I think, our increasingly like on-the-go lifestyles.
Right.
Like we're all so busy, we're always rushing from one place to another. And meals a lot of times just end up being eaten in the car.
Yeah.
But our cars weren't really designed for that, were they?
Right. Yeah. It's like we've adapted our eating habits to fit our busy lives, but like the design of our cars hasn't really caught up.
Exactly.
So this Saucemoto is kind of like stepping in to try to bridge that gap.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good way to put it. It's bridging the gap between how we live and how our surroundings are designed.
And it makes you wonder, like, what other everyday inconveniences are we putting up with just because the design of our, like, surroundings and things just hasn't caught up with our actual needs?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think it's one that we should all be asking ourselves more often.
Okay, so I think we've established the Saucemoto might not be perfect,
Right.
but it's definitely sparked a conversation.
For sure.
It's a clever solution to a very specific problem,
Yeah.
but it also kind of hints at this much larger issue.
Hmm.
This need for design to keep pace with our our evolving lifestyles.
Absolutely. And maybe even to like anticipate our needs before we even realize that we have them.
Okay, now we're talking. But before we get too futuristic, let's take a closer look at this whole on-the-go dining phenomenon.
Okay.
Because if the Saucemoto is any indication, it's a trend that's not going away anytime soon.
Not at all.
Hmm.
It really is interesting how this little dip clip has got us thinking about like,
Mm.
how we eat and how we design things and like how those two kind of intersect.
Yeah, for sure. And it goes beyond just the function. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something almost symbolic about the Saucemoto.
Okay.
Like, it's this tiny little rebellion against the chaos of eating in the car.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Rebellion against chaos. Haha.
Haha.
But it is, though. It's like taking back control,
Yeah.
you know? And
Right?
even in like the most unconventional settings, you're
Yeah.
saying like, yeah, I can have my nuggets and I can dip them too. And I'm not going to like turn my car into a sticky mess.
Right, exactly. And maybe that's like part of the appeal. It's not just the convenience, it's like the dignity too, you know? Like nobody wants to feel like a toddler who's just like discovered finger painting with ketchup.
Exactly. Nobody wants to be that person.
Actually not in your own car.
And that's where good design comes in, you know?
Right,
It's not just about making things work. It's about making things work well
right.
and like enhancing our experience while we're doing it. Like, think about the little details in the Saucemoto.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it comes with removable ramekins. That's not like essential,
Right.
but it makes a huge difference in terms of like, ease of use and cleaning and stuff.
It's just those little things that make it not just okay, but something you actually want to use.
Yeah, that elevates the whole
And
experience.
it makes you wonder if they put this much thought into like a dip clip for your car.
Yeah.
Like what other possibilities are out there?
Right. What if we applied that same like design thinking
Yeah.
to the entire in-car dining experience?
Ooh.
Like imagine like a built-in system with compartments for your food, and it's designed to like keep things warm or cold depending on what you're eating.
Ooh. I like where you're going with this.
Right.
Okay, so like a little mini fridge and a little warmer.
Yeah, maybe like a drink holder that like actually prevents spills,
Uh-huh.
even on like bumpy back roads.
Yes. A spill-proof cup holder. That is genius.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And of course, a whole array of Saucemotos
Obviously, for all of the sauces.
for all your dipping needs.
All right, now you're talking. And we could even have like, okay, this is where it gets really futuristic.
Okay.
A self-cleaning feature.
Oh,
Because let's face it, who wants to deal with like lingering French fry smells and ketchup stains?
no, thank you. Yeah, a self-cleaning in-car dining system.
Yeah.
I think that's an innovation we can all get behind.
So sign me up.
For sure.
So while the Saucemoto might be like the current champion of, car dipping,
Yeah, for now.
it's clearly just the tip of the iceberg. Like there's so much more potential here, so many more possibilities for like designing for this like better on-the-go dining experience.
And as our lives continue to get busier and busier,
Right.
and our reliance on like eating on the go just keeps increasing,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot more innovation in this space.
It makes you wonder what those future innovations will even look like.
For sure.
Like what other everyday annoyances could we just like fix with some clever design?
And maybe even more importantly, like how can we as consumers like start demanding better design?
Yeah.
Design that actually caters to our needs and like elevates our everyday experiences, because it shouldn't take a viral dip clip to make us realize that we deserve better.
That's a really good point. I mean, like, why are we settling for mediocre design when we could have things that are, like, actually enjoyable to use and make our lives easier?
Exactly. We have the power to
That's-
demand better, and I think it's time we start doing that.
It's crazy, right? We started talking about a dip clip for your car, and, like, somehow we ended up talking about, like, the future of design
I know.
and, like, a more civilized, like, on-the-go dining experience.
It's amazing how like one little object can just spark such a wide-ranging conversation. But I think that's the beauty of a deep dive,
Yeah,
you know?
totally. You never know where it's going to lead.
Yeah.
I mean, who knew a dip clip could be, like, a symbol of rebellion against messy cars?
Or like a catalyst for reimagining the entire in-car dining experience.
It's right. But I think like the biggest takeaway here is the power of design thinking.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we've talked a lot about the Saucemoto and how clever the design is.
Yeah,
But it's like more than just the product itself, you know?
right.
It's the thought process behind it. Like
Yeah,
identifying a problem, brainstorming solutions, considering the user experience.
exactly. And that's something that we can all apply to our own lives.
Oh, yeah.
Whether we're designing products or like solving problems at work or even just trying to make our daily routines a little bit smoother.
Yeah, just approaching anything with that kind of design-focused mindset. It's not just about dip clips and like self-cleaning cars. It's
Right.
about how we approach challenges in general.
Totally, and that's something we can all benefit from,
Absolutely. I think so too. And I think as we've seen with this Saucemoto, even the smallest details can make a big difference.
for sure.
And sometimes those little, like, seemingly insignificant annoyances,
Yeah,
those can be the things that spark the most innovative solutions.
totally. So I guess that brings us back to you, our listener.
Oh, yeah.
What, like, everyday frustrations have you come across that you think could be solved with a little bit of clever design?
Yeah. What would your ideal in-car dining setup even include? Like
That.
maybe a built-in snack dispenser,
Ooh.
a self-warming cup holder, or even like a voice-activated condiment caddy.
Ooh, now you're talking.
Let those ideas like simmer and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to like revolutionize the way we eat on the go.
That's right. The future of in-car dining is in your hands.
All right, well, until then, thanks for joining us for this saucy deep dive.
Uh-huh. Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll catch you next time for another exploration of the unexpected.